Gentlemen, welcome in. Purple Daily here. Mackey, Judd, Declan, and it's time for installment number 4 of Kirk or Blank.
I feel like we need a big voice guy on that eventually, don't we?
We can put Manny on it.
I think
Yes, sir.
Manny would. He's got the chops for that for sure.
We can definitely put Manny on that for sure.
Okay.
So here are the rules, and we're gonna bring a comparison back that drew a ton of heat on one of us a few weeks ago. I am glad that this person stood his ground.
I have felt zero heat, so must not be me.
It's Declan Goff.
Oh,
That's right, me.
So
if you think that's heat, wait till tomorrow's action
here-
movie rewind.
So Action Movie Rewind, available on the Mackey and Judd podcast, Apple, Spotify, and scorenorth.com. So here are the rules for Kirk or Blank. All right, we're looking at a 3-year window, and contracts matter. So contracts are a part of this discussion.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins is 32 years old, average cap hit of $32 million, 2020, 21, and 22. All of the comparable quarterbacks we're going to bring into the mix here, and the ones that we have, are tied to their current contracts as well. And this assumes that if you make a swap, that you would also have made that swap before free agency started, so you'd get the extra money if you made a swap for 2020 free agency as well. So we've already done Baker Mayfield, Kirk or Matt Ryan, Kirk or Matthew Stafford, Big Ben, Jimmy G, Sam Darnold, Teddy Bridgewater, Josh Allen. We're going to start off with this one. Kirk Cousins or Joe Burrow, 23 years old, projected to make, his contract isn't official yet, but he's projected to make $9 million per year, average annual value between 2020, 21, and 22. And then obviously he'd be under team control for a 4th year and a 5th year option. So you get a team controlled Joe Burrow, 23 years old, or already established, know exactly what you're getting, Kirk Cousins. Start with Judd.
Refresh my memory. Is this being done completely under the parameters of the current Vikings situation? So I'm replacing Kirk Cousins now, and I'm getting Joe Burrow for and it's with the same team.
Yep.
Identical
the
circumstances.
rosters are the same. Yep.
Goodbye, Kirk Cousins.
Wow.
Number 1 overall pick in the draft.
Wow.
This is tough, okay? But I'm getting the number 1 overall quarterback in the draft, so he, I would think, has something going for him.
He put up a ridiculous season at LSU.
I'm getting him under my control for 5 years, 4 years at quarterback pay, what I like to call dirt cheap.
Yeah.
I'm taking a risk, but if the risk pays off, I am showered with salary cap room. The essence of my team becomes greatness around my quarterback, who might himself be great.
Yes.
This on the surface is a difficult call for me. The more I pry down into my inner soul of footballness and quarterback play, it's actually not. Joe Burrow.
All right, Declan.
It's pretty tough. Judd lays out some really good points that this is number 1 overall pick hype. The Vikings have never really theoretically picked number 1 overall and had a quarterback at their disposal like Joe Burrow before.
What is the highest the Vikings have picked overall?
Is it third or second?
They've never picked first overall, I don't think.
I don't think they have picked first overall.
I'll do some research.
Okay.
Keep talking.
I think Burrow has a ton of hype around him, and the cap space makes things easier. So I am more interested in having a rookie quarterback under a rookie deal and seeing what the Viking trajectory is for the next 4 years. Is it that much different than what it is right now with Kirk Cousins? So for those reasons, I will take Joe Burrow over Kirk, but it's not night and day.
I am obsessed with the blueprint of getting a top young team control quarterback and building your roster around him. It's how the Pittsburgh Steelers did it in the first few years of Ben Roethlisberger's career, and they won a Super Bowl. It's how the Seattle Seahawks did it with Russell Wilson the first few years. It's how the New England Patriots did it in the early 2000s with Tom Brady. Like, that is the blueprint. Pat Mahomes with the Chiefs last year. If you can get a top-end quarterback, maybe there's a year learning curve, but then they're just ready to rock and roll in their first few years when they're making a lot less money. That's the blueprint. So for me, it's Joe Burrow over Kirk Cousins. If you're asking me right now in 2020, who's going to be the better quarterback in 2020, it's Kirk Cousins. I'm very confident in saying that. But the money you save, the $23 million extra dollars that you save this year, next year, the year after, think about this as part of the equation. Joe Burrow plus Jadeveon Clowney. because this is a cap savings game in some ways too. Makes your defense even more dominant, right? Or Joe Burrow plus Everson Griffin plus
Offensive
cornerback
lineman,
guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, offensive lineman. So the answer to me is Joe Burrow. Do you have the answer on the highest the Vikings have ever picked?
The
Judd?
Vikings picked first overall, and they took running back Tommy Mason in their expansion year in 1961. So that doesn't really count because they were an expansion team and just got that pick.
Sure.
And then they came back in 1967. No, in 1968. And they took a tackle, Ron Yeri, first overall. But I believe they acquired that pick in the Tarkington trade from the Giants.
Okay.
So, yeah, this team basically never drafts first overall because they stink, which is really too bad the year that Andrew Luck came up.
Yeah, that's they had a chance.
You like that?
All right, here's the next one. Kirk or blank. Kirk or Dak Prescott. So this one's a little bit more complicated because, again, Kirk is 32 years old, average cap hit of $32 million the next 3 years. Dak is 27 years old. He's under contract for a $31 million franchise tag in 2020.
Yep.
Then he either becomes a free agent or he signs a deal or he's franchised again. So Dak's salary for 2021 and 22 is sort of unknown. But I'm going to say for the purposes of this discussion, Dak's going to make $31 million in 2020, and then he's going to make an average of $35 million in 21-22. So you take those 3 years, and it's just slightly more money or around the same amount of money as Kirk Cousins makes, $32 million a year. Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott?
So this one basically comes down to personal preference now, because as you just said, there's not really a financial game here. They're both contracts are based in financial games. I am a Dak Prescott fan more than I am a Kirk Cousins fan. So while this is far from ideal to have to pay him as much as he's going to command and ultimately get, if you just came to me and said pretty much the same price tomorrow, Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott, I'm going Dak Prescott. So the price does pain me, but since we're just talking about preference and quarterbacks here, I like Dak more than Kirk. I'm going Dak Prescott.
Interesting. All right, Declan?
Yeah, like what Judd said, it's now down personal preference. I think Dak Prescott's truly one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. And if I can get a chance with him and get him at, especially on just the franchise tag right now, yeah, I'm taking Dak all day. And also, he's a little younger than Kirk Cousins, so even though he might command a new contract that will be equal, if not greater to, than Kirk Cousins' contract, I'm going to take my chances that I'm going to get elevated quarterback play from Dak Prescott, who can elevate the things around him and change the game, unlike Kirk Cousins. So give me Dak all day.
So, all right, this is not a tough one here. If Dak made a lot less money, it's a no-brainer, but it's going to be about even in money. So I take Dak as well. And my logic is I save 5 years of a guy's prime. So he's 27. I get a guy, he's in his prime, but he's younger. And so I just get a little bit more time to play with there. Also, if you look at Dak's progression here, so he put up, back of the football card stats, just under 5,000 yards last year, 30 touchdowns. He's more mobile and can escape pressure more than Kirk Cousins can. If you look at more of the analytical side, Dak had his highest yards per attempt of his career last year. Kirk was pretty damn. They were both around 8 yards per attempt last year. ESPN's QBR last year and Pro Football Focus had kind of a flip-flop story for these two quarterbacks. So ESPN's QBR had Dak as a top 5 quarterback, to what Declan said. Mm-hmm. They had him ranked 4th behind Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, and Drew Brees, and just ahead of Russell Wilson. They had Kirk Cousins 13th in QBR. Pro Football Focus, which has it's more of a scouting-based evaluation system, they had Kirk Cousins 5th, and they had Dak Prescott 13th. So essentially flip-flop stories with Pro Football Focus and ESPN. I feel like the ceiling is probably a little higher for Dak because of mobility, because of age.
Yes.
I think there's still a little bit more for Kirk to give as well, but I'll take the younger guy, and I'll take the guy that I think has another level if Mike McCarthy can squeeze something out of him. All right? Our last one here, Kirk or blank. We're revisiting a hot take that Declan had a few weeks ago on Purple Daily here, but we're going to officially put it in the Kirk or blank bin. Kirk Cousins or Tom Brady. 43 years old, under contract through 2021 at $25 million a year. So Kirk, $32 million, Tom Brady, $25 million. Obviously, a 10-year age gap between these two guys.
Yep.
Judd Zulgad, have you changed your mind at all in the last few weeks since we had this discussion?
This to me is very simple. I want to clear out my current quarterbacks. I want a fresh start on potentially a cheaper contract. And if I'm the Vikings, what do I love? Quarterback fun. Tom Brady. 1 year, 43. You're probably too old, but let's see. I always go back to this phrase, but I feel like I know who Kirk Cousins is. I don't think there's room there, and he's not bad, but I don't think that there's room there for Kirk to surprise me. I feel like the parent of a C+ student or B- student.
So
He's
me.
a good student. You're a decent student, but you ain't changing. You're not coming home with A's. You're not even going to come home with B+.
What is Kirk? He's like a B student.
He's like a B student.
Yeah, he's a B student.
And on his worst days, he's probably a C+ or C student. But
On his worst days,
actually, you know what?
He's definitely skipping class to smoke weed out back.
Actually,
at Lambeau.
Daytime, B to B+ student. Nighttime, D student.
Night classes are tough.
But
They're tough.
But the fun factor here with Brady, the fact that I can get a year and it might be good, it might be bad, but then it's just going to be done. If I'm the Vikings, I'm going Tom Brady.
All right, Declan. You were steadfast in your
I don't
defense of
expect this
Kirk
to
Cousins
change.
last time.
No, yeah, I'm taking Kirk Cousins 8 days a week out of
Wow.
this situation. I know what I'm getting in Tom Brady, and that's a shell of himself. He's no longer the quarterback he was. He's 43. He's done. He's cooked. I don't care. He's going to a new system.
Cooked?
He's cooked. He's cooked. He is cooked.
We should make Declan put this in a write that down prediction. We have to quantify it.
Okay.
It can't
Yeah,
just be
'cause
that
it
he's
can't be-
cooked. It can't
Tom
just be
Brady is not the man would not be fair.
think about
Okay.
one for next week.
I can do that. That's no problem. Yeah, no, I'm taking Kirk Cousins because I know that Kirk Cousins can elevate, knows the system and is comfortable here in Minnesota. I don't know if Tom Brady can step in and
Except
just
in night
be the
games.
man immediately. I know what I'm getting in Kirk Cousins. I don't know what I'm going to get in Tom Brady. Give me Kirk all day.
So I'm going Tom Brady here. I've had a few weeks to think on this too. It's Tom Brady. There's a lot of no quarterback has ever gotten to this age and performed at a high level. This is completely uncharted age territory. There's only a handful of guys over 40 that have put up big numbers. Drew Brees is one of them, although Drew Brees is like 3 years younger than Tom Brady too. To Declan's points, Brady put up some of the worst numbers of his career last year in meaningful categories. He only completed like 60% of his passes, which is not very Tom Brady-like. His yards per attempt were in the 6.5 range. Kirk Cousins averaged an extra 1.5 yards per attempt.
Don't
over the
kill
course
the
of the
fun
season.
factor here, Mackey.
All right, so there's look, Ryan Tannehill averaged 3 extra yards per attempt over Tom Brady last year and completed 10% higher passes. So, like, I'm just saying, he put up some ridiculously bad numbers for Tom Brady.
Absolutely.
He also didn't get a chance to play with the weapons that he's going to play with in Tampa or an Adam Thielen type that he would play with in Minnesota. And don't give me Julian Edelman, because I think Adam Thielen is head and shoulders better than Julian Edelman right now at this point in their careers, if healthy. And so I see the red flags with Tom Brady, but for the fun factor that Judd mentions, and just because he's Tom bleeping Brady, and you know that he's been there before.
And what if you get that one
and you get to
last
save money.
Favre 2009? He's got a fire lit under him.
What about this too? So he makes $25 million. Kirk makes $32 million. Okay, you have $7 million in cap space
bring it
now.
on, bring it
You get
on.
the extra $7 million. Now you have $14 million to go. Jadev,
Jay.
buddy,
I just call him Jay.
Kirkers,
J Sack,
you're fine here, bud. Don't worry about him.
Jadevion. We're gonna give you $14 million on a 1-year contract.
Yep.
You use us, we use you. Tom Brady's here. He'll probably play for less because Tom Brady's here, right?
Win-win. It's a win-win.
You probably get Jadeveon Clowney and a cornerback because they'll play for less money because Tom Brady is in the house. Tom Brady's my guy.
Can't do it.
So
You like that? You like that?
So I believe we just ran the table picking the other quarterbacks except Declan standing by Kirk Cousins in the Tom Brady. Right? Didn't we all just pick the other quarterbacks?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
You picked Dak?
You're right.
Yes.
Dak,
and,
Joe Burrow.
And if I had to rank what you just gave us, Phil, Joe Burrow's my top pick.
Who's your second pick? Mine's Tom Brady.
You know what? Because I like Dak way more, but because of Dak's contract, it's Brady because I'm free.
Wow.
I'm free of the chains of quarterback pay after that.
I'd
So
go,
I'm taking Brady based on that.
I'd take Dak and then Burrow and then Brady.
See, I think Burrow at that price, if he's good, man, and you've hit
Sure.
that out of the park, you have 5 years.
You know, I will say when Declan said Dak Prescott's a top 5 quarterback, my first thought was hot take police are going to pull you over. But when you start to think about what Dak could do if Mike McCarthy has spent the last couple years, all right, let's modernize this thing. I don't think Dak had much of a chance with Jason Garrett, even though Jason Garrett's supposed to be an offensive-minded coach. But in that top 5, for sure, are Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson right now, and Russell Wilson. Like those 3 guys are for sure in the top 5. And the other 2 spots are probably up for debate between like old Drew Brees. I think Deshaun Watson belongs in that conversation.
I feel like the scrutiny on Dak Prescott, because of the team he plays for, makes us believe he's not as good as he is.
The Cowboys are ready to pop. Like the Cowboys are better than people think they should be like an 11-win team. And they just were poorly coached and failed in the fourth quarter of games last year. So if some of that stuff turns around, the Vikings have another competitive force in the NFC to watch out for. So, all right, that's Kirk or blank. And we've only made it through about half the quarterbacks.
Joe Burrow,
too.
baby. Go Joe Burrow.
Dak.
Sorry, Kirk. We love you, bud.
You like that? You like that?
Actually, I don't love him at all. I know who.
I love his teeth.
I'm not even that big of a Kirk Cousins guy. I can't get down with Brady.
B- student. At night, he's a terrible student. His night classes, awful.
You described my tenure at St. Cloud State.
His night classes is.
Although I was good at night class.
And we didn't expect much from you.
No, you didn't. And look
Not
at me
like
now.
we signed you to a rich
Look at me now.
contract.
Who's Declan as an NFL quarterback?
Ryan Tannehill.
Okay.
2018 or 19?
19. Going on 20. New contract.
That's a wrap. On
We're
this
all
episode,
Sean Mannion, baby.
Purple Daily. Thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks for visiting scorenorth.com to find Mackey and Judd, Judd's Hockey Show, and all kinds of other content too. See you next time.